after the game is the aftermath. Win or lose, we still wave our commander's flag. Riding with Went under center, making the pass. Jahan Dotson, young rookie, making a splash. The burgundy and gold, that's what we about. Jonathan Allen knocking QBs to the ground. We die hard and nobody can shut us down. Cause this is the greatest show in town. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
All right, guys. So the Washington Commanders have done it. They have went into Raymond James Stadium and took care of the Tampa Bay Bucks by a score of 23-20. Every time I say this, Jaden Daniels poised. Nothing rattles him. He comes in. He takes big shots. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He keeps his head on a swivel. When there's 2 minutes left in the game, guess what? I tell you this, the game is over. Don't leave the ball in his hand. Baker Mayfield, you could see him on the sideline. He knew that this game was over because Jaden Daniels, with 3 minutes left in the game, he was 3 for 3, converted on third down twice, a big play that within the 3-minute mark, a big third down to De'Ami Brown, who had a magnificent game. Hats off to De'Ami Brown. Excuse me. Hats off to De'Ami Brown, who played a stellar game, came up big when we needed him because it was either him or Terry. Even Sakias played a valuable role. But Zach Ertz, he didn't have a big role, but he was there when we needed him. De'Ami Brown and Austin Eckler need to get the game ball because they was very valuable. Terry was Terry. He was Terry. Now, we took some big shots in the game that we had one for Terry, but we missed. But when Terry needed to be Terry, Terry came out to be Terry. But like I said, De'Ami Brown came up big on that third down. That was the play to keep the drive alive. Then Jaden Daniels took it on 3rd and 1, got the first down, and gave it to Gonzalez to seal the game, which it hit the upright, bounced in. When you say you could call it the luck of the draw, but hey, I'll take it. Now, Jaden Daniels, he joins Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, and Mark Sanchez, the only rookies who ever went on the road to win a playoff game. Plus, Jaden Daniels has more wins with no interceptions, no turnovers, and no punts, more than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and etc. It just goes to show how special Jaden Daniels is because the fact of the matter is Jaden Daniels came into the league, the number 2 pick. Nobody expect Washington to be in this position. Nobody expect Washington to win 12 games. Nobody expect Washington to win a playoff game. Nevertheless, everybody thought it was a rebuild. But the true Commander fans thought otherwise. I personally seen a lot in Jaden Daniels. I talked about Jaden Daniels all throughout the season, all throughout the off season, even when he was in his last year of college at LSU. This dude is something special. He's already elite. He's way ahead of what C.J. Stroud was last year. And C.J. Stroud had a magnificent rookie season last year. But Jaden Daniels took that to another stratosphere. I could say he is the Black Tom Brady because nothing shakes this guy. And teams and coaches is going to fear him. Just the way they fear Lamar Jackson, but I think they're going to fear Jaden Daniels even more because you know why? When Jaden Daniels gets the ball in his hand with the last few seconds on the clock and he's moving it, guess what? It's going to be a win. And if teams already looking and say, hey, we can't give this guy the ball back, That's how much of a threat he is to opposing teams now, because they know they gotta, if you stop five or you blitz him, and he's so good against the blitz that it makes it hard for the defense to really, you know, have a game plan against him. Because if you blitz him, he either runs out or he gets the ball out so quick and he hits his target. So what is left for a defense to do? Yeah, as the season went on from the beginning of the season and to now, he has matured so much because now he's recognized he still makes little mistakes here and there, but he overcomes those mistakes so fast to where you sit there and think like, oh, is there anything that we could do against him? Tar balls throughout everything against him, everything. But the one thing that cost Tampa Bay was that turnover, that missed handoff, and Bobby Wagner got on it. And then when Tampa Bay was driving again, and they had kicked the field goal to make it 20 up, they bobbled the handoff again, and Bucky Irving got dropped for a loss. So now we all waited for the matchup of the day was Marshawn Lattimore against Mike Evans. And I hate to say it, they went after Marshawn Lattimore because they knew Marshawn Lattimore just coming off a hamstring injury. So you didn't know how well he would have been moving. Now, he moved pretty well tonight, but if Marshawn Lattimore had played the last couple of games, it would have been a different story. But Mike Evans did get away with a pass interference call, but I had to take my hats off to Mike Evans. He got the best of Marshawn Lattimore today. He did. Now, Marshawn Lattimore should have um, a favorable matchup next week, because you can either be on Jameson Williams or you're going to be on Marcin Brown. And that's going to be the pretty good matchup because you're going to have Sandersfield probably on either one. I'll take Sandersfield over on Marcin Brown. And then, and whoever be on, what's the name? But nonetheless, Jalen Daniels, the Washington Commanders this season has had 5 comeback wins. 5. That ties with Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Daniels had 4 of them. He has 4 comeback wins this year. And the Commanders have 5 total. So if you play in the Commanders and you really, want to beat them, the best thing is don't let them have the ball last. Because guess what? They're going to find a way to get down the field and they're going to try to win it by a field goal if they need to win or a touchdown to win the game. And then even if they get it in overtime, they get a chance to win the game, they're going to win it again. So the thing about it is that the Washington Commanders can't put up points. Where people think that, hey, they can't put up points. But when you playing, the one thing about Washington is they know how to control the clock and they know how to go up tempo. And the one thing I expected Washington to do in the beginning of the game was to move the ball faster, which they did. Now, Tampa Bay did win and score first. Washington, they had the ball. Washington should have scored. They didn't score because they went for it on 4th and 1 and didn't get it. And then they gave Tampa the ball and Tampa went down to score 3 points to start the game. And then Washington came back down and scored 7 points. But that was in the second quarter. Washington didn't score in the first quarter, but they scored in every other quarter. They scored 10 in the second, 3 in the third, and 10 in the fourth. So, but as you notice, they shut down the passing of Baker Mayfield because Baker, when Washington went up 10-3 and just before the half, if Washington had went up 10-3 at the half and came out and scored in the third quarter like they did, and put say they was up 17-3, it would have put Tampa Bay in a different position to where they had to pretty much play faster. and abandoned the run. But nonetheless, Tampa scored before the half. It was 10-10 at halftime. So, and Washington left a lot of meat on the bone. If you go back and look at it, the fourth downs that they had in the red zone and they didn't convert to it, that could have been touchdowns. The game could have been pretty much out of the hands easily, and Washington could have probably had about 30 points. If you think about it, 2 touchdowns, that's 14. What they have, 23. That's what, 37 points right there. So take it for what you want. But Washington played a clean game. They control the time of possession, as always. Like I say, good thing Austin Eckler was back, because Austin Eckler, with him and Brian Robinson in the game, because I love Austin Eckler when he's in a passing formation. When he catch the ball in the passing, on a screen or whatever the case may be, or a quick screen, on wide receiver screen, he gets it upfield so fast. He moving. He gets up the field fast. And then when you start running the ball on it, because if you look at the second half, down to the third, going into the fourth quarter, Tampa Bay was getting worn down. And that quick tempo was killing them. They was running that quick tempo so fast, it was killing Tampa. You could see Tampa was getting tired, because it was a couple of times that Vita Vea had to come out the game and come back in. And I said this, the Tampa Bay Bucks defense is a little older. They're not how they was back when Tom Brady had won the Super Bowl with them, because they was young back then. But you look at, and when Washington was doing up tempo a lot, it gave the Commanders defense a whole lot of time to rest, and they was playing fresh, and they was able to. Now they gave up 100 yards rushing, but that's a little bit better and everything like that. Now Deron Payne did get hurt. I think his thumb is fractured. I don't know what his availability for next week. Hopefully he could put a cast on it and he could come back and play. I mean, Pierre St. Paul, he did it for Tampa Bay through the years. So I'm figuring he's going to come back. Like I said, Jaden Daniels has more games in his career with his team has 0 punts and 0 turnovers, more than combined careers of Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes. That's impressive. And like I said, this Jaden Daniels is better. And now that Terry McLaurin has finally found a receiver, not a receiver, but a quarterback that could get him the ball, Terry's playing like lights out of head of schedule. De'Ami Brown is on his rookie deal. I'll bring him back. I'll re-sign him. He has stepped up tonight, and I hope that carries over into the Detroit game. He's stepping up because he been with the team just like Terry throughout the big times, and he stuck. And there was a lot of times that we thought De'Ami Brown was not going to be on the team. We thought he was going to get released ahead of schedule. We thought he was going to get released before Jahan Dotson. Now, granted, 2 ex-Commanders did caught touchdowns for their teams. Curtis Samuel got a touchdown for Buffalo. Jahan got his first touchdown against with Philadelphia. So, but Terry got his touchdown as well. De'Ami got a touchdown tonight. So, and also Jaden Daniels' passing rating tonight was a 103. That's impressive. The dude is clutch in the fourth quarter. Point blank player. He's clutch in the fourth quarter. So there's no way that you can sit here and say, hey, he's just a rookie. He's a rookie in our eyes, but he's playing like a 10-year vet, a 5-year vet right now. And he's up there with some of the best there is. So, but nevertheless, man, you got to, like I said, you got to tip your hats off to this guy and everything like that, because he is playing some fantastic football. Right now, notable drops. The Commanders since 2024. They had their first winning season since 2015. That record is snapped. They had their first playoff win since 2005. That snapped. Now, to win the conference champ and go to the Super Bowl, both of them will be since 91. Now, it's a tall feat, but like I say, they play with house money. Some call them the cardiac commanders. Some call them. Some of us call them the clutch commanders. But nevertheless, this team is poised. Now, Jalen Daniels also is 3-1 in primetime games this year. He played on Monday night against Cincinnati, beat them. He played on Sunday night against Atlanta, beat them. He played on Sunday night again against Tampa, beat them. And the only game he lost was a Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, the first game of the season. And he has not lost to a team this year when playing them twice at all. Now, they do have another primetime game, and that's Detroit on next Saturday night. And I think that will be on Fox. That's another primetime game. So if he was to pull that off, if the Commanders go into Detroit and pull that win off Detroit, I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl, point blank period. If they pull that game off in Detroit, I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I don't see no reason why. So let me go over some other stuff for y'all real quick before I get out of here. He has the most points by a rookie quarterback ever. Most points ever by a rookie quarterback. And you think that this just a fad, this just a fluke? Nah, this is what Jaden Daniels do. And he's going to have the respect of a lot of his peers in the league right now, a lot of them, because the fact of the matter is that he's playing at a high level. And now you don't put the Detroit Lions on high alert, because now they're gonna have to realize they have to play you. They can't come in there and say, "Oh, this team is not who they are." They got to play you, and they got to play you tough. Now, I ain't gonna lie, that kick by Gonzalez was nerve wracking, because that was, I mean, when you say you got luck on your side, that's luck. That's pure luck. And plus, Jaden Daniels got cut on his face early in the game. But like we always say, we get it back in blood. So I'm gonna go over some statistical stats real quick for the Commanders before I get out of here. The Washington Commanders. We did it. We did it. Stats. Jaden Daniels, 24 for 35, 268, almost 300 yards. He was averaging 11.2 yards a pass. That's pretty good. That's 10 yards a pass. He only been sacked one time in the game. And then he had a passer rating. Well, his passer rating is 110, so that's good. But I think his passer rating in the fourth was 103. He had 36 yards rushing. Austin Eckler had 27 yards rushing. Brian Robinson, I don't know. We're going to have to figure out a way to get Brian Robinson going, because he has not rushed well in the last two games. And he only had 16 yards tonight rushing. And De'Ami Brown, he was targeted 5 times. He made all 5 of his catches for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. Terry McLaurin was targeted 10 times. He caught 7 of them for 89 yards and 1 touchdown. Austin Eckler, he was targeted 4 times. He caught 3 of them for 26 yards. Zach Ertz, he only had 2 yards, 2 catches for 23 yards. Brian Robinson, 4 catches for 22 yards. Zacchaeus, 3 for 19. So there's no Luke McCaffrey and everything like that. So Gonzalez, he was 3 from 3. His longest was 52 yards. He had 2 extra points, and he totaled 11 points tonight. Luke McCaffrey had 2 points with 60 for 60 yards. So hey, and we thought Jamison Crowder was not going to play, but he did show it up. He on a punt return. So we had, I think we only sacked Baker Mayfield 1 time, and there was a half a sack, one by Darren All-Star and one by Bobby Wagner, and everything like that. So that's pretty good. Let me go to the Bucs stats. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, he was only sacked 1 time. Now he passed for 15 for 18 for 185. So he didn't really go. Bucky Irvin only had 77 yards rushing. So they had over 100 yards, but Bucky Irvin only had 77 yards. So we shut him down pretty much. We kept him contained. And that's something that the Washington Commanders going into that Detroit game, you're going to have to find a way to control Jabari Gibbs, because now that David Montgomery is injured, who's going to take his place to run the ball? And they use Jabari Gibbs all over the field. They do the same way that Bijan Robinson does with Atlanta Falcons. He runs the ball and he catches out the backfield. So you're going to have to account for him a whole lot. So, and I think the Washington Commanders can get to Jared Goff, because you're not going to expect for Jared Goff to run. So you could probably get to him and make him make mistakes. That's one thing about Jared Goff. You're going to have to get to him and knock him, because if you give him time, he can dissect you. And the Washington secondary and cornerbacks, they're going to have to be very disciplined. That's why I say I'm glad Marshall Lattimore is back, because now he don't have to worry about a big receiver. He can match up with one of the smaller receivers and use his physicality on him and make Jared Goff hold the ball a little bit longer. And he's just going to have to watch out for Sam Laporta also. So I'm going to probably do a breakdown on on Friday about it, do a recap or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, like I said, and Mike Evans, he had almost 100 yards. He was targeted 7 times and he caught all 7 of them for 92 yards. So yeah. So that's pretty good. The Washington Commanders control the time of possession, 35-26 to 24-34. They had the most total yards, 350 to 284. They had more passing yards, 268 to 183. Tampa outrushed us 101 to 82. We had 22 first downs. They had 19. They had 7 penalties. We had 5. It seemed like we had more penalties than that, because a lot of them, I'll say about 3 of them penalties came from pass interference. 2 of them on Lattimore. You know what I'm saying? Now, the only key of the game was clean until that one turnover, and that came to Tampa. Both teams had 1 sack. Total plays, Tampa didn't run enough plays. They only had 44 plays. We had 69, almost 70. So that means we was controlling the clock. And I think also going into the game next week, I think the Washington Commanders, they got to do the same thing that they did tonight. Run up tempo and keep the Lions off the field. You're going to have to score points. You're going to have to execute and score points. I think the Washington Commanders can score points on them. I think they're going to have to be disciplined, and they're going to have to play a clean game. Because the fact of the matter is, you can't, even though if you go for it on 4th down, you don't get it. Detroit has a high octane offense that can put points on the board, and you could get in trouble, and you could get in a big deficit. So they're going to have to really put points on the board and not play around with it at all. But then again, I do like what the Commanders have done. I still say the one thing about this is that this is a great time to be a Commander fan. If you're not a Commander fan right now, and you have to really sink yourself into it. The fan base is alive. The fan base is really going crazy. The fan base is really embracing this season, because this is the best season ever for the Washington Commanders. The best season ever. So I feel like it's a high. It's a real good high. Now, how well can we carry this? We don't know. Like I said, we get to the NFC Championship game, I'm picking this team to go to the Super Bowl. I don't care who comes out of there. I don't care if it's the Eagles, the Rams, or Minnesota. I ain't picking Washington to go to the AFC on the NFC to the Super Bowl if we make it to the NFC Championship game. But anyway, I will do a later on recap later this week. But Great win for the Washington Commanders. We got a 12 win season, a winning season. Now we got our first road playoff win. And history has shown us being a wild card. And all you got to do is get hot at the right time. Get hot at the right time. We've seen it with the Giants twice. We've seen it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. There was a wild card and they went on a road and they beat every team and went to the Super Bowl. Washington could do the same thing. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they can't do it. You know what I'm saying? They could go on the road and Washington is hot at the right time. That's what makes it so scary about them. They hot at the right time. They could go in anybody's stadium and beat them. You know what I'm saying? So, and then to say, for instance, say if they play, the Rams was to beat Minnesota, or the Rams go in there and knock off Philadelphia, and Washington knocks off Detroit. Washington gets a home game for the NFC Championship game. How wild would that be? So I'm just telling you, being a wild card and on the road is not a bad thing. I think Washington is the hottest team going into the playoffs, and they got all the momentum right now, and anything can happen. So history has shown itself. All you got to do is get hot, and then let everything fall the way you need to. So, like, comment, subscribe. Commander fans, who are we? Left hand up. Great win for the Commanders Nation. Let's keep it going next week, and when we go into Detroit and tame them Lions. Until the next episode, this is your boy Live Wire Sports Media, and I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live Wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.